So, as we alluded to last week, we are going to be diving into the AFC South and our divisional record predictions because they play the AFC East, who we just analyzed last week. So, a lot of similarities, a lot of close games, and to keep our minds straight, we need to
hmm
hop over to this one first before going back to the NFC.
Yeah, I agree. And it's becoming quite the intertangled web of games because roughly like half of them are
Hmm.
going back to games that we've already predicted once already. But
Yeah.
fortunately, fortunately, if we did it properly, it still seems that their records are accurate to what I would have liked them to be, which is good.
Yeah, we're trying to be consistent with it. We're not just throwing out numbers that allow
Right.
there to be basically like 500 games and teams can win
Yeah.
more games than they actually should be able to mathematically. But yeah, we're going to dive right on in here, right? Should we just launch on in with your new team, your favorite adopted team here?
Yeah, bro. Let's rip it. I've got
All right.
uh I've got a nice record for them this year, 11 and 6, which would put them in first place in their division, only by a game though, so it's still a decently tight division. But week 1, they're facing Indianapolis, so I've got them winning against the Colts there. Week 2, winning against the Bears, and week 3, winning against Minnesota. As well as week 4, they're going to win their first game against Jacksonville. So the Houston Texans start off the season 4-0. But then week 5, they're at home. They're facing the Buffalo Bills. Rhett and I are in attendance, and
That's right.
Buffalo clutches up and gets a victory to break the Texans' little 4-0 run. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a good game, but Houston couldn't hold on. Then they go on another little tear, a little three-game tear against New England, Green Bay, and the Colts again. They're going to get wins over all three of them. So they're going to beat the Colts both times this season. And then they're going to drop another game to the Jets. Jets are going to be good this year. We already talked about that. But again, my Jets predictions might be a little bit off since I had them going 15 and 2. Then they're going to face Detroit. I've got Houston beating Detroit here, but then they're going to drop a game to Dallas because we all know that Dallas doesn't lose at home. And then in week 13, Houston's going to be heading into Jacksonville, and they're going to lose this second game of the season to Jacksonville. Or like they won the first one against Jacksonville, but they lose the
Mhm.
second. Heading into the bye here, they come back after the week 14 bye. They have a nice game against Miami. They get a win against Miami, but then they drop a game to the Chiefs. Chiefs are just going to be too solid, bro. Houston's not going to be able to get a win there. Then we've got Baltimore at Houston. Houston's going to come back hungry after their emotional loss to the Chiefs, and they're going to beat Baltimore, and they're going to close out the season with a loss to Tennessee because they're sitting their starters because they've already got the division.
Fair enough. I think there's a little bias in there. I don't think the Texans are going to be quite that good this year. But yeah, I don't think they're going to have the luxury of sitting their starters. But I have them going 10 and 7, so just one game behind you. I
Mm-hmm.
actually have them losing their home opener, or actually not their home opener, Indy's home opener. Yes, the Colts are going to get revenge from last year's devastating end of their season against the Texans. I feel like nothing more the Colts want to do than beat the Texans here in this spot after what happened to them
Mm-hmm.
getting knocked off the playoffs by their rival and the Texans on that failed fourth down conversion there. Then we have Chicago at Houston, going to be taking the Texans. Houston at Minnesota, definitely taking the Texans here as well. Buffalo at Houston, going to be taking Buffalo. And then moving on to a Houston at New England game, we all know that the Texans are going to trounce the Patriots, as most teams will.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go up to Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to be pretty lethal this year, so I'm going to take the Packers there. Then you have Indy at Houston, definitely taking the Texans here at home. They get revenge from earlier in the year. I think most of these division games I have splitting pretty much across the entire board if they're at least halfway decent teams. Then we
Mm-hmm.
have Houston at the Jets. I'm going to take the Jets. Jets are going to be good, as we already discussed last week. Then we have Detroit at Houston. This is probably like the only home game I have the Texans losing. So there you go. Lions get that one. Actually, oh, I actually put Houston down. I felt like I had the Lions. You remember it all?
I don't, but can
I'm
give it a
going to back to
little
check here.
check
Like in
here.
my heart of hearts, oh, I guess I did have the Texans. Wow. All right.
There you go.
I don't know. My Lions bias has been subdued. But yeah, all right. We'll give them that one. But then the battle for Texas here goes to the Cowboys. I just
As it
don't
normally
see,
does.
yeah, I mean, I don't see the Cowboys losing at home, especially in a humongous hyped up game like this
For
will
sure, bro.
be. Tennessee at Houston, gonna take the Texans. Houston at Jacksonville, I'm gonna take the Jaguars. This is gonna be another series that is split as Houston won originally. Miami at Houston, definitely gonna take the Texans here. Don't think the Dolphins will be that good this year, like we previewed last week. Then they're at Kansas City. It's a tough spot indeed, a little cold for them. So I'm gonna give the Chiefs that one. Then Baltimore at Houston, I totally agree. I think they get revenge. They're hungry for that after the playoff beating that they took last year. And then they come back. They have to win this game to try and win the
Hmm.
division because going into this week, if they actually, how do I have it? So they would both be, so the Texans would be 10. No, the Texans would be 9-7. The Jaguars would be 11-5. So I guess it wouldn't really matter if they played this game, but I'm gonna have them winning it regardless. Yeah, the way I have things playing out is Jacksonville would already have clinched the division at that point. So that's a little
Hmm.
interesting. But yeah, there you go,
Gotcha.
10-7.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. So you're honestly still decently optimistic on them
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
that's the same record that they had at the end of last season.
Yeah. No, I think it just won't be as good enough to win the division. Honestly, Jacksonville's collapse last year proved that they kind of got lucky to win the division at 10-7 because Jacksonville
Yeah.
was on pace for like the number one seed. They were like 8 and
Hmm.
3 at one point.
That's true, yeah. But I don't foresee another collapse in the same way that Jacksonville did last year.
Yeah.
I just don't think they will be as like consistently like solid throughout the entire season. Like I don't foresee a collapse, but I also don't foresee just like a whole bunch of like I don't know, like losses in there like sprinkled throughout. Like I just feel like it's just gonna be like win, loss, just I don't know.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
hear you for sure.
All right.
You, yeah,
So
want to hop down to the Jaguars?
we've kind of got their records swapped here a little bit. So I've
Yeah,
got the
we
Jaguars
100%
going
do.
10-7, and you've got them going 11-6 here. But I think that Jacksonville is going to lose their home, or I guess not their home opener, but their first game of the season at Miami, and then they're going to win their home opener when they're facing Cleveland here. Then they're also going to beat Buffalo, although I know that you don't really like this pick because Buffalo needs to get some revenge on Jacksonville. But then we've got Jacksonville at Houston. I already talked about this one. Houston's going to get the first win in the season. Jacksonville at home against the Colts. Jacksonville will win here as well. And they're also going to win at Chicago and the London game. They never lose in London.
Exactly.
So they start off the season not half bad, 5-2, but then they have a little bit of a tough stretch here. They've got Green Bay, and they're going to lose to Green Bay, make it 5-3. Then they're going to drop a game to the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to be 5-4. They're going to have an easy game though to come back from after this against Minnesota. They'll get a win there, but then they're going to drop another game to Detroit heading into their Week 12 bye. So they start off pretty solid, but they've got a tough little stretch of games there. They're going to drop a few of them. They're going to come back and end the season strong. They're going to come back from their bye, get a win against the Texans. They're going to beat Tennessee. They're going to drop one to the Jets, but then they're going to win against Las Vegas and Tennessee. And then in the final week of the season, they're going to lose to the Colts.
I like it. I think that's very reasonable, very plausible to happen. I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to be interesting to follow these two teams, as we're
Hmm.
on different sides of the fence as the
Right.
season progresses. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
11 and
crazy how just
6.
like the one game is really the
Yeah.
differentiator here in getting into the playoffs.
I mean, that's exactly how it was last year.
I
Jacksonville
know.
was 9-8, Texans were 10-7, and that was the difference in it. So
Yep.
yeah, I have them going 11-6 this year. I actually have a little optimism. It could be better than that, and we'll get to that. But I have them opening
Hmm.
up on the road at Miami and taking a win from them. As I said, I don't love the Dolphins this year. I think the Jaguars then get revenge for the Cleveland game last year that I think Trevor Lawrence battled it out, but he threw like 3 picks in this game. It was at Cleveland. So Jacksonville gets the win here. Then they go on the road to Buffalo. They're not playing in London this year. I think Buffalo does win this game here. Then they go on the road to Houston. So it's a tough little on the road stretch here in which they go 0-2. Then they come back home, get a win against the Colts. Then on the road to the Bears. I don't believe much in the Bears this year, even though I'm a Chicagoan. So I'm gonna have the Jaguars winning and starting off 4-2. Then they go off to London, as they usually do right around this time, and they beat the England Patriots, as we've talked about, just a trouncing there. Green Bay at Jacksonville. I'm going to take the home team here, Jacksonville, but I could see the Packers definitely pulling this off. But I
Hmm.
would have them then, I think, sweeping the entire division, which I just don't foresee happening. I think they will drop one against either the Jaguars or the Texans. Then we have Jacksonville at Philadelphia here. I'm going to take the Eagles. That's a tough spot to be, probably a primetime game. Minnesota at Jacksonville, easy win for the Jaguars. Jacksonville at Detroit. This is the one where I had Detroit winning that I am a little bit cautious on, but I do like Detroit at home here. Then going into the bye, they're in a pretty good spot, but I think at this point they would be pretty much tied with the Texans going into their bye here. But then they go on a really nice stretch here, win 3 in a row at home against the
Hmm.
Texans. So now they reclaim the lead. Then they go off to Tennessee, get the win there. Jacksonville at home against the Jets. They're lucky it's at home here because it would be so cold at this point up in
Hmm.
Jersey. So they get the win there. Then here's a sneaky little loss here that I could have them. They could
Ooh.
easily win this, and this is where the optimism for being maybe 12-win team comes into play. But I'm gonna take the Raiders at this point here, especially coming off of that 3-game emotional win streak. Then they finish off at home against Tennessee. They win that one, but then go on the road to the Colts because, like I said, they already would have had the division locked up at this point. So even
Hmm.
if the Colts were to win this game, which they do in my book, that would only be their 8th win. Jacksonville already had 11 at this point. So
Yeah. Good picks. I like the Jets at Jacksonville game, dude. I think that that's really going to be a good one. I was kind
yeah,
of surprised it's not a primetime game or anything, but that just feels to me like it should be. Like it's going to be a really good game.
yeah. Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers. I think it's the first time they've met. So that'll be
Yeah.
nice. Actually, no, it's not.
Uh,
No, it's not. I think, yeah, the Packers did play Trevor Lawrence several years ago. Yeah.
well, even still, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, yeah, that did happen. It was actually a closer game than it really should have been because the Jaguars were
Hmm.
poo that year and the Packers were
Yeah.
like dominating everyone, like number one
Was
seed
this
that year.
was this T-Law's first year in the league?
I think it might have been, yeah,
Yeah.
because they ended up like hyping it up as the year went on. They beat the Lions. So I knew they played the NFC North that year. And so, yeah, I
Hmm.
remember the Packers game. I think, yeah, Aaron Rodgers threw 1 pick in that game. It was a quiet game for him, but yeah.
That's
Should we
crazy
pull it
that you
up?
remember
We gotta pull it
that.
up. I'm sorry.
You gotta
Packers.
like rip off your stat prediction. Like you always seem to know. Like
All
Aaron
right.
had 276, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say I think it was Aaron Rodgers was probably like 17 of 28 for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks. I kind of feel like he had 2 picks in this game.
Yeah.
Or maybe at least I'm gonna say 2 turnovers. Keep it broad. 2 turnovers. All right.
So
When's the
this
last
is
Packers?
November 15th, 2020. Packers 24, Jaguars 20.
This was 2020. Yeah, so this was a while ago. Okay.
Was Trevor even in the league yet? He wasn't even in
No,
the
he
league
was
in
not.
2020. All right,
So
hold
Aaron
on.
Rodgers did throw a pick. Why do I feel like there was a more recent game that they had played?
Um,
Wow, James Robinson ran all over them, who's not even like really in the league anymore.
I know.
Really feel bad for James Robinson. I guess that is like the last time they played, although it really does feel like they had played. All right, after some investigation, yeah, this will actually be their first meeting. But yeah, the Jaguars Packers game did happen. I just thought it was a little more recent, but it does make sense. Every
Hmm.
4 years they would have played unless they like matched up in that
Right.
seeding, which we've talked about before. So, all right, little side tangent there. Over. Now it's time for you to give Colts predictions.
Yes, I am not so optimistic on the Colts this year. I feel like a comparable team will be the Cleveland Browns for this year. Like Colts and the Browns, very similar in terms of their records and just their overall like quality. Just like a
Hmm.
very middle of the road, kind of like a little worse than average kind of team. But starting off here, we've got their home opener is in week 1 at Houston, and they're dropping it, dude. Houston's getting the win. Then we've got they're going to head into Green Bay, and they're going to drop the game to Green Bay as well. And then they're also going to drop the game to Chicago, also at home for the Colts. They're going to start off 0-3, so a real rocky road for them. And they're going to get
Yikes.
their first win here against Pittsburgh while the
Mm.
Colts are at home. So there we go. They're taking down at least a semi decent team, but they're going to lose the next game here to Jacksonville because Jacksonville is going to be much better than Colts are. Then we've got a game at Tennessee. Tennessee is going to suck this year. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the league, more comparable to like a Minnesota-esque type of team. And so they're not going to be getting many wins. And so Colts
Hmm.
are going to win that game. Then we've got Colts at Houston, and Houston's going to get the sweep here against the Colts. Then we've
Wow.
got, yeah, I know. It just
I don't
feels
like
right to
that.
me, though. You don't like it?
No.
It
No.
feels right.
Mm.
Okay.
We'll
Well, then we've
see.
got, they'll win the next game, though. The Colts will win the next game at Minnesota. I'll give them the win there. But they're going to drop, then they're going to go on a brutal stretch here of losses. They're gonna lose to Buffalo, the Jets, and Detroit, three straight, and they're even gonna drop a game to New England. We actually talked about that one. I
Yeah.
think it was 2 weeks ago now. It's like our one
Hmm.
law or our one win for New England each was to the Colts. Um, then they're going in their bye, and they're going to go on a tear when they come back from their bye. They're going to get wins against Denver, Tennessee, the Giants, and they're going to win in the final week of the season against Jacksonville here. So they start off, they have a pretty rough season up till their
Yeah.
bye. They're
Hmm.
3-10, and after their bye, I've got them finishing 7-10.
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy
yeah,
that they go on such a tear after it, but it is a favorable schedule after the bye. It is a little
I
tough
agree.
in the midsection there.
Yep,
But I
yep.
have them going one game better despite how bad you kind of made it seem. I only have one game better. I'm a lot more optimistic about them. I think if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy for the whole year, he's got
Hmm.
that bug in him that just, man, I got to watch last year and he just wants so badly to get back out onto the field. And I feel like that is a powerful thing to have watched for so long and then finally
Hmm.
have the chance to get back out there. So I think
I feel
they'll
like
be
he's
pretty good.
liable. I think he's liable to get injured again, but like almost
Yeah.
like a Justin Fields type injury from last year where he maybe like is out for like 4 weeks or something like that, but then he
Mhm.
is able to play for the rest of the season.
Yeah. No, he's very injury prone, I would say. So I could definitely see that happening, but hopefully not. So I'm gonna have
Yeah.
them winning that opening game at home against Houston. This is one I would like to bet on, especially I would believe the line's gonna be tight. I don't think, I mean, it's gonna be tough. Colts probably could be in plus money, but I really like them in this spot, especially after what
Colts
happened last year.
Colts are definitely going to be in plus money.
I don't know. I could see this being like a minus just 110, minus 108 game.
No way, dude. Colts didn't even make the playoffs and Houston made it to round 2 or round 3.
They made it to round two.
Oh, round 2. Okay.
But if Gardner Minshew converts a fourth down, they don't make it there. I mean, it's as simple as
I mean,
that. If
there's a million scenarios. If Trevor Lawrence, sneaks the ball in and instead of getting stopped, I mean, they also don't make it.
that's fair, but all three teams I thought were very comparable last year, and so I don't think the discrepancy is going to be that high this year. But anyways, moving on. I do have the Packers beating them when they go up to Green Bay. They will then beat Chicago. So a little, state to state rivalry, I guess you could say. I do have
Mm.
Pittsburgh winning when they come up to Indianapolis. So a little surprising there. I could see it going either way. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. I'm going to take Jacksonville. And I am going to take Tennessee here at home against the Colts, surprisingly. But you'll see why in a bit. Miami at Indy. I'm going to take Indy here again. Not a believer in the Dolphins. Indianapolis at Houston. I'm going to take the Texans. Free win. Minnesota is just going to be a free win for just about everybody this year. And so will the Patriots. Buffalo at Indy. Taking Indianapolis like we talked about last week. Indianapolis at the Jets, though. Tough spot. Tough spot. Yeah. In the cold. It's going to be frigid. Probably a little sleety that
Hmm.
day. Detroit at Indianapolis. I'm actually taking Detroit here on the road. Then at New England, I don't know what got into me, but I just feel like this is the one game that New England could win at this point. Just like one of those sneaky, like, I don't know, like Bill Belichick's not even there anymore, so you can't even pull that card. So it's really just inexplicable. I don't know what to expect with the Patriots, new coach, new QB, but just like a abysmal looking offense. So
Hmm.
going into the bye, they are 5-8. And then they go on a nice little 3-4 stretch here. Indianapolis at Denver. That's a win. Tennessee comes to their place. They win that one. Then they go to New York for the Giants. Giants get them there. And then at home against the Jaguars, who are sitting their starters. So they get the win there.
Here we go. Brings their total
Bingo.
to 8 and 9. So
No
yeah, like we
playoffs. No
said,
playoffs.
yeah, no playoffs, but slightly more optimistic than I was on them.
Yeah.
All right. Titans, though, we're both pessimists on the Titans. No confidence in them. I don't like Will Levis very much. I don't believe in him. I know that you like him a lot more than I do, but even still, your guy's gone, dude. Tannehill's gone. Who's going to carry the Titans to any wins?
I mean,
Not
he's
Will
still
Levis.
there though, isn't he? Like, I mean, is he just a free agent? I guess he's a free agent, but he hasn't signed with
Yeah.
anyone. So
Right. But like, is Will Levis going to show the Titans to the promised land?
no,
No. I mean, Derrick Henry's not even there anymore. So like, who do they
Tony
got left,
Pollard
bro?
though,
Oh, that's right. I always forget about some of
and
the trades
Tajay
that
Spears,
occurred.
bro. They're gonna be an absolute powerhouse, the running back.
Uh-huh. I guess, but Derrick Henry was the powerhouse by himself. He was
No,
like
I
a
know.
truck.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're gonna be quite bad this year.
Yeah. All right. So we've got their week 1 game here is at the Bears. The Bears are finally going to get a win in their home opener, which feels like it never happens. It feels like they always just
Yeah,
lose week 1,
they
but
got a
they're
good
finally
draw.
they
Good
did
draw.
indeed. Yeah, good draw. So they're going to get a win, or the Bears are going to get a win. Titans are going to lose their first game. They're going to lose their home opener as well against the Jets. Bad draw for the Titans. Then they've
Yeah,
got Green Bay. They're going to lose to Green Bay, and they're also going to lose to Miami. So, in my opinion, a pretty tough opening schedule here for the Titans. And then they've got a really early bye, a week 5 bye before they get
that's
into
brutal.
the meat of their schedule. Like they've got all these games to play, and they don't get any rest in between. But
Yeah.
so they've got game against the Colts here. They're going to drop to the Colts. Then they're going to drop to the Bills. They're going to drop to Detroit. So that I believe would make them 0-7 to start off the season here. And they get their first win against the Bozo Patriots in week 9 here. Um, and as crazy as this might sound, I've got them winning 2 straight. They're going to get a fluky win, a sneaky, stealthy, Sly Fox win against the Chargers. They should not win this game, but it's going to be one of those games that they end up pulling out. And I don't
Yeah.
know what, yeah, Harbaugh just doesn't coach well that game. I don't know.
If I had to give
But
him another win, like I would probably look to that game as well.
yeah. So they're now up to 7-2 or 2-7, but it doesn't get much better from there. They're gonna drop one to Minnesota here, and then ooh, is this a mistake? I have Tennessee beating Houston here. There's no way I put that
Whoa.
above. There's no
Whoa.
way.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
I don't
happen
know.
now. It's gonna
No, no,
happen.
no, no, no. That was a mistake. I never meant to put that on there. So we've got Houston still gonna win that game. So we've got the Titans going 3-14 instead of 4-13. All right. I don't know what got into me, but that was never in the cards. I've
Fair
got them
enough.
winning.
We could
Yeah,
let
here we
slide.
go. Here we go. I've got them winning the second game against Houston in the last week of the season, right?
Yeah, you have it down there.
Okay, yeah, and I also had that in the top predictions as well.
Right.
So there we go. That was what I had
But the
meant to
Titans are
do.
not going to sweep the Texans, is what you're
No,
saying.
oh
No
God,
sweep.
no. No sweep, absolutely not. So all right. Houston gets the win there, but and then the next week we've got Tennessee at Washington, and Washington's gonna win this game as well. We made that pick a while back, but if I were to be kind of up in the air on a game here, it would definitely be this one as well. I was thinking like Tennessee, and I was like, wait, I think I picked Washington a few weeks back, which I did. And so we got to roll with Washington. Then Jacksonville at Tennessee. Jacksonville's going to get a win here. Cincinnati at Tennessee is going to be a blowout. Cincinnati's getting the win. Then we've got Tennessee heading over to Indianapolis. They're going to drop this game to the Colts, and they're also going to drop a game to Jacksonville here, where Jacksonville will sweep them for the division. And to close out the season, they're going to get the win against Houston when Houston is sitting their starters. So that brings them to 3-14, not 4-13. But
Mhm.
either way, bad year, not making the playoffs.
Yeah, it's another team I don't know what to expect because they have a new head coach who I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind. Will Levis has shown flashes. They got some pieces there. They got Calvin Ridley now. So really, I mean, they could win double the amount of games I have them winning, but still that would not be very good because I only have them
Yeah.
3-14 as well. I think the Bears are going to get them. I think the Jets are going to get them week 2, Green Bay week 3, Tennessee at Miami. I'm going to have Miami being them for a revenge game of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the bye 0-4, Indianapolis at Tennessee. I am going to give, I think, yeah, I switched this to Tennessee. I just want to make sure that is rectified there. So this is their first win of the year at home against the Colts. Tennessee at Buffalo, Tennessee at Detroit. That's a tough stretch right there. So they lose both of those. They come back home to host the Patriots. Easy win there, despite struggling. Yet that will be an easy one. I do have them losing to the Chargers, but I could see that going the other way. Minnesota at Tennessee, another 3 wins. That would be 3 wins. So actually, I think I have them going 4-13. So a
You
little bit
can
of
change it. You can
improvement.
change it back to 3-14 because you got them winning against the
Oh
Bengals in a couple of
gosh.
games here.
What
And
am I thinking? I don't know how
yeah,
that got in there.
I don't know either. And yeah, I just checked the pick from when we did AFC North, and you did
Yeah.
take the Bengals. So
Yeah, there's no way I would not have taken the
yeah.
Bengals. Okay, so 3-14 it is. Just a little technicality there. Minnesota, Tennessee, free win. Tennessee at Houston. No way. Houston's going to win. Tennessee at Washington. I did take Washington this game. I think they start to figure
Mhm.
things out as the season progresses. Jacksonville at Tennessee, taking the Jaguars. Obviously, the Bengals at Tennessee as well. So a couple cats come into town and paw and scratch them up a little bit, maul them a little
You
bit.
don't think the
Tennessee,
Titans will declaw them?
no, not at all.
No.
They're gonna
Yeah,
be
it doesn't seem
overwhelmed
likely.
by all the puss.
The feline?
Yeah, all the feline that come into Nashville over the course of 2 back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
Tennessee at Indianapolis. I'm gonna take the Colts here to even that series. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Houston at Tennessee. 2 more division games, 3 in fact to end the year. In fact, all of them they lose. So there you go. 3-14, maybe a little on the low side, but I can't carve out too many more wins for them here. Like if I had to do another one, I'd probably have it against the Jaguars or the Texans
Or the Chargers?
or the Chargers. But I
There
would
you go.
default to the home games against either the Jaguars or the Texans first.
Got it, got it. But yeah, there you go, guys. Those are our picks. I feel like these are all quite reasonable. Um, so you would not have the Jaguars being the 1 seed anymore, as you originally stated
No.
last week, but would this put them up at like the 3 seed?
This feels like 3 seed to me, but it depends how
Yeah,
things shake out. It could be the 2 seed
because
because
the
I
Chiefs,
don't know
you're
why I said that. I totally forgot that the AFC North existed. I
yeah,
undoubtedly have the Bengals being the number 1 seed. Okay.
hmm
And
yeah,
then because of what we did last week with the Bills winning that division, I mean, the Jets winning that division, that would be the number 2 seed there at 12-5. This would
What about the
probably be
Chiefs?
the 3 or 4 seed. So yeah, I mean, it depends on when we get to
Okay.
the AFC West, what the Chiefs end up being at. But I think they'll have a
Yeah.
really difficult schedule this year. So they could either end up 11-6 or they could end up 10-7.
Got it. Got it. But yeah, there we go. I feel good about those and feel good about the playoff predictions as well.
Yeah, me too. Very excited to see how that all plays out.
Best bets of the week review from last week. You're still hitting over 50% here, so I guess we've
You're
got
right.
one more week to of the sample size to test it out before you start dropping some coin.
I mean, I could feel myself bleeding though. Like I could feel it. Like last week was not a great week for me. I know I still was over 50% and I at least hit like the plus money one, which was
Yeah,
good. Although that Brandon Pfaadt starting to really piss me off because he'll pitch great through like the first 2 times he sees the batter. And then the third cycle comes around and he gets absolutely blasted. In that game,
really.
he had like 4 shutout innings and then he got absolutely hosed and they still won by 1 run, thank God. And then it happened
Hmm.
again against the Athletics last night. So Sunday night he had like 5 or 6 and almost 6 shutout innings, and then he gave up a run. And because of that, he didn't get the win. The next guy who came in pitch got the win, and it
Jeez.
screwed me in fantasy a little bit. So Brandon
Dang,
Pfaadt,
bro.
he's so close, but not there yet. But at least they still won. The Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Washington, San Diego Nerfies did not hit though. Very sad. Very sad about that.
So I've got a little analysis for you here.
Oh man, let's hear it.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So
Okay.
you have over the past 4 weeks now, you missed the last bets that you put on the little sheet here. It's like
Really?
you're locked in for your first few, and then you missed the last one. So like, for these ones, you missed your last two Nerfies, and
Mm-hmm.
then the previous week, you missed the last one that you put on the dock, just the last one. Same with the week before that, you were 7-1. You missed the last one you put on the dock.
No
The week before
way.
that, you were 4-1. You missed the last one on the dock. And the week before that, actually, that's it.
That's crazy
Then
though. Like
the
it's
week
like I
before
lose my
that, yeah,
focus.
I know exactly. You're not locked in enough. So if you're popping the Zinners before you're doing these, make sure that you've got enough going
Yeah.
to last you throughout all of your picks. All right.
I know. I guess it's just fading away. It's fizzling out. Like I am absorbing so much of the Synergy that it
Yes,
just fizzles out too fast.
it does seem that way. Yeah. So when did you craft these bets? Did you do it during our episode
Yeah,
today or
like
did you do it
literally just
early?
like 3.5 minutes ago for the last
Okay.
like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Got it. Well, yeah, I'm hoping that you've been locked in enough
Yeah, I
to,
hope so because this is the make or break week. I have an odd amount of bets, so that'll
yep.
make it so there won't be a tie.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start with 4 money lines. Toronto at home against the Astros. I like Barrios a lot here in the spot. Arrighetti, the pitcher for the Astros, has been better, but he's spotty. He's still rocking a 5.68 ERA. That's gross. Detroit money line on the road here at Minnesota. Scuball, one of the best pitchers in the league, might win the Cy Young Award. Gonna take them in that spot there at minus 120. Toronto is minus 115. Then I'm going to take Kansas City at home against the Rays. I love Brady Singer. He's had a great season so far, and I think that he handles the Rays here. And Zach Little, who is not bad, but he is significantly worse than Brady. Then I'm gonna take Philadelphia at Chicago. Yeah, the Cubs. This game, my boss is actually going to this game. So even though
Ooh.
the Cubs are at home, even though the pitcher for the Phillies is basically like a reliever, I don't know why they need to start this guy. They must have some injury in the lineup right now. But
Mm-hmm.
Mercado, whoever that is, against Wesneski, who's fine, but he's nothing special. So I'm gonna take Philadelphia to win this game in plus money. If you can take the best team in the MLB by wins. That's correct, I believe. Let's see here. Yep, the Phillies have the most wins. They have 55 wins. The next closest is 54. So if you can take the best team in the league at one of the worst teams in the league, in plus money, you do that every
That's
time.
crazy. So I don't understand that at all.
It's because of the pitcher, that Mercado. Like
Dude,
they're gonna have to do like just bullpen. Like they're probably gonna run through like seven pitchers in this game.
that's
Five
absurd
to
to me.
seven
That's
pitchers. Yeah.
that like reminds me of like I feel like it was one of the NFL games. Maybe it was like Dallas at Philadelphia or something like that, and we said that we just like love the value of like Philadelphia and plus money, or
I think it was
like
against the 49ers. It was.
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Just like one of the best teams in the league,
Hmm.
basically. It feels like they should be, you know,
Right. But
getting
that was
a
when
win there.
Philadelphia really started to falter.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, this is different. I don't see the Cubs winning. The Cubs are in an absolute slump and a half right now.
Yeah.
Then we have three nerfs for you guys. Cincinnati at the Yankees. This is Ashcraft at Gill. Couple of pitchers who have had their ups and downs. Gill is in a down right now, but I think he'll rebound here, at least for the first inning. St. Louis at Pittsburgh. That's Kyle Gibson against Mitch Keller, two really strong pitchers as of late, especially Keller. And then Dylan Cease at Eovaldi. So that's the Padres at the Rangers. Going to take the Nerfy there as well. I think there'll be more scoring in that game than maybe these other two, but I don't think that first inning we'll see any action. So there you have it. 7 bets. If I hit 4 of 3 or better, I will start placing money on any bets that I craft going forward for the pod. Really need this week here to pull through. I really need some of those money lines. I would love some of those just to come through. Not the best value. I mean, I think there's good value on them, but obviously none that earn plus money except for one. So
Hmm.
a little strange for me at least. Usually my money lines are a little more riskier, but I just
Right.
feel, gotta go safe.
Yeah. No, I like the picks. They're solid this week, and you're up to 122 wins and 113 losses, 5 refunds. You're up a unit on the year
Really?
and 0.41% ROI. So there we go.
0.41.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I saw it like it was really like low. It was like just barely breaking even last time I checked before you implemented the or inserted the new week's bets.
Yeah, it was 0.08%,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
now it's
yeah, exactly. So
0.41.
I'm at
So
0.41. So I've like
yeah,
quintupled.
there you go. Good
I
way
just
to
like
look
my
at it.
units plus 1 unit.
That's nice, bro.
Just look at the win. The wins and losses makes it look better.
It really
122 to
does.
113. Everything else is just like so tight.
I know.
Could
It's
easily
just all
fall
because
back.
like all the minus 110 bets we've got in there, like even though you're up 9 more wins than you are losses, it's like hardly up any units just because of the stupid minus 110 Vegas odds.
Now I know. I need to take some riskier bets so I could really use the Philadelphia one come through.
Some parlizzles.
I there was some I would like to parlazzle because the money lines weren't great, but not
Yeah,
gonna do it for the pod.
got it.
So that's what we have. There's no fan mail.
No fan mail?
No.
Isn't that 2 straight weeks without any fan mail?
Yeah, you gotta get your Dan shit. Ever since you moved away, it's just like he's stopped watching.
Wow. He's still watching, but he forgets to write in, I guess.
Mm.
But I feel very confident he will not forget this week.
Because we're calling him out for it.
Yeah, like we're directly calling him out, telling him that he needs to send in some fan mail.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Yeah, he's gonna get over the kettle. He's gonna brew some up, something nasty, something crazy.
He always has something wild and bold to say.
He normally does, yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed. Let us know what you think about the predictions for the AFC South down in the comments below or write in yourself and email us. It
So
doesn't just have to be Jake Stanton.
what division we doing next week?
We could pretty much go anywhere. We might as well do the AFC South, I'd
West?
say.
You mean West?
NFC South.
Oh, the NFC South. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think that's what we should do. Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Let's rock and roll.
All right, dude. I'm
I
ready.
will. Yeah. We will see you guys next week for, yeah, probably the NFC South or West, I would say, because I think the West played the North. So maybe we should do that,
Hmm.
but we'll talk about it.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye now.